You typed one digit wrong, you hit send, and now the screen is telling you the payment went through. Most people get the next minute wrong. They assume a bank can press undo. It usually cannot, and the reason is not laziness. It comes down to one question. Does the account number you typed belong to a real, open account? If it does not, you are mostly fine. The payment has nowhere to land, it fails at the receiving end, and the money comes back within a few business days. Annoying, not a disaster. If that number does belong to a real account, everything changes. The money is sitting in a stranger's balance now. It is legally their deposit, in their name, at their bank. Your bank cannot reach in and take it out. It has to ask. That is the short version. But the reason your bank cannot simply take it back was written on purpose, by people who knew what they were choosing. There is also one part of the world where this mistake mostly cannot happen, and the fix is embarrassingly simple. Stay with me and you will know 3 things. The exact words to say to your bank today, why the number beats the name you typed beside it, and how one bank sent $900 million by accident, then spent 2 years in court trying to get it back. Let me show you what the machine actually does. When you set up a transfer, you hand your bank 2 things that look equally important: a name and a number. In your head, those are one person. To the payment system, they are not. The number is the instruction. The name is a label. Your bank passes that instruction to a clearing network, which routes it by the number alone. The receiving bank looks up the number, finds an account, credits it. Nobody stops to read the name, so there are only 2 outcomes. The number matches nothing and the payment bounces, or the number matches something and the payment lands. There is no third branch where a computer notices you slipped. Picture the right name on an envelope and the wrong house number. The postman delivers to the number. Here is why that matters. The second it lands, you no longer have a payments problem. You have a stranger who has your money and no obligation to pick up the phone. In the United States, this is not just a habit. It is written into law. Wire transfers run under Article 4A of the Uniform Commercial Code, and Section 4A-207 covers this exact situation. If a payment order names one person and the account number points to someone else, the receiving bank may rely on the number. The number wins. There is one narrow exception. If the bank actually knows the name and the number belong to different people, it cannot hide behind the number. But actual knowledge is a very high bar. Careless is not enough. It is not what the bank should have spotted. It is what the bank genuinely knew. A federal appeals court held to that standard again in a business email scam case. In late 2025, the Supreme Court declined to look at it. So when your bank says it cannot reverse the transfer, it is not fobbing you off. The law treats the account you typed as the correct account. That rule was a deliberate trade. Trillions of dollars move between accounts every day, and that only works if no human touches most of it. Automation needs one field it can trust completely, and a number is machine readable in a way a name never will be. Think how many ways one person can be written. Robert, Rob, Bob, R. Williams. A name is a suggestion, a number is an address, so the system is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was built to do, at the speed it was built to do it. You just found the edge of it with your thumb. Which raises the obvious question. If names are the weak link, why not check them? Somebody did. 2 somebodies in completely different ways. Britain built the name check into the payment screen. It is called Confirmation of Payee. Before the money moves, your bank asks the receiving bank one question. Does this sort code and account number belong to someone with this name? You get one of 3 answers. Full match, close match with the real name shown to you, or no match at all. Then you decide whether to carry on. The 6 largest British banking groups had to offer it from 2020. By October 2024, the requirement covered essentially every provider handling faster payments and chaps. So a British person mistyping an account number today usually gets a warning before the money leaves, instead of a phone call afterwards. Europe attacked the same problem from the other end. Rather than check the name, it made the number check itself. An IBAN carries 2 check digits, calculated from the rest of the number by a formula called mod 97. Your banking app runs that sum locally, before anything is sent, and this is the part I love. The check is mathematically guaranteed to catch certain mistakes. Any single character you mistype, omit, or duplicate. Any 2 characters you swap. Those are exactly the errors human fingers make. The United States has nothing like it on the account number. The routing number carries a check digit, so a mistyped bank is usually caught. The account number has no universal checksum because there is no universal format. Every bank picked its own length. That is the whole difference. One system assumes you will slip and catches you. The other treats your typing as the instruction. None of which helps if the money already left. So let us be practical. Call your bank the same day. Not the app chat, the phone. Ask them to open a recall request, or in Britain, a misdirected payment claim. Speed beats everything else you can do, because a balance that still holds your money is recoverable and a spent one is not. Get a reference number and write it down. In Britain, you have something concrete behind you. Regulation 90 of the Payment Services Regulations covers this exactly. If you gave the wrong account details, your bank is not liable for your mistake. But it must make reasonable efforts to recover the funds, and the receiving bank must cooperate, including handing over what is needed to collect. That last part is the laver. If the recipient refuses, your bank can be required to pass you the details you need to pursue them. A dead end becomes a civil claim. In the United States, there is no equivalent recall right on a domestic transfer you authorized. Your bank can send a formal recall request, and usually will, but the receiving bank generally needs its own customer's permission to hand anything back. International transfers are the exception worth knowing. Remittance transfers carry a real error resolution right. You give your provider notice of an error, spoken or written, and it has to investigate. And if your bank goes quiet on you, file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. It goes straight to the bank, which generally has to respond inside 15 days. It is free, and it moves people who were not moving. Which brings us to the uncomfortable question: what if they just spend it? People assume money that lands in your account is finders keepers. It is not, and one very well documented case settles it. In May 2019, a bank teller in Pennsylvania made an error. She deposited more than $120,000 into the account of Robert and Tiffany Williams of Montourville. The money was meant for an investment firm. They spent over $100,000 of it, $15,000 as a down payment on an SUV, $10,000 on 2 four-wheelers, a camper, a race car, $15,000 handed to friends. The bank caught the error about a month later and pulled the money straight back out. That left the couple more than $107,000 overdrawn. Then they were charged with theft and receiving stolen property. They told reporters they had taken some bad legal advice. So if you are ever on the receiving end, the rule is simple. Tell your bank, do not touch it, get it in writing. Spending money you know is not yours is not a loophole. It is a crime. You might be thinking this is a problem for people like us, not for institutions with real systems. This next one is my favorite because it is the largest version of your typo that has ever existed. In August 2020, Citibank was the agent on a $2 billion loan for the cosmetics company Revlon. It meant to send the lenders about $8 million of interest. It sent $900 million. It paid off the whole principal out of Citibank's own money on a debt that was not due for another 3 years. Some lenders sent it back. Holders of roughly $500 million did not. Citibank sued. In February 2021, a judge in Manhattan ruled the lenders could keep it under an old doctrine called discharge for value. If you are genuinely owed the money and you receive it with no notice of a mistake, it is yours. The biggest accidental payment in banking history, and the court said too bad. Then it flipped. In September 2022, the appeals court reversed in a 93-page opinion. The debt was not due for 3 more years, so the lenders were on notice something was wrong. Give it back. 2 years, 2 courts, 1 keystroke. If that is what it takes to unwind 900 million, you can see why nobody is clicking undo on your 400. One more thing, because the rails changed and the advice has not caught up. Older transfers gave you a small window. Instant payments do not. On a service like Zelle, once the person you paid is enrolled, the payment is final. The only case where you can still cancel is when the recipient never enrolled, so the money sits in limbo waiting to be claimed. And here is the trap. Because you authorized it, it is generally not treated as fraud. Regulators have said plainly that these apps usually do not protect authorized transfers, even accidental ones. So the real protection on an instant payment is the 2 seconds before your thumb comes down. Check the number, then send $1 and confirm it arrived before you send 4,000. Here is the sentence to take with you. Getting your money back depends far less on how helpful your bank is than on 2 things. Whether that number belongs to a real account and whether a stranger agrees to let it go. Move fast. Ask for the recall on the phone. Keep every reference number. If the money is still sitting there, it usually comes home. Now I want to know one thing. Does your banking app show you the recipient's real name before you confirm, or only the number you typed? Tell me which country you are in and what your app shows. I would love to see how much of the world has actually caught up.